everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
you sure are.
I have with me Eric Confirmation McCabe. He just confirmed how cool I was.
Nice. Sweet.
Robert, how'd you do this weekend, McKeek?
All right.
I messed up your name.
Only one of those
never
was
can remember
close
your
to
name.
right, but that's fine.
Haven't we talked about me needing a name like Bobby McBrown or something
Bobby
like that?
McBrown. That's it.
Mick Bobby Brown
Mick Brown.
also
Brown.
works.
Guys, they haven't started calling him Armac yet.
Yeah, but a bunch of people have
Why? Oh, that's
a bunch of people have suggested that. And I'm like, but that's not my thing. That's your thing, you know? Like, plus EMAC sounds cool. Armac is like
Armac.
It reminds me of. Do you remember like Legends of the Hidden Temple, like a long time ago on Nickelodeon? That sounds like what one of those temples was called. It just sounds kind of weird.
The Armac.
Yeah, it wasn't actually that, but it was something like that.
Can I be the BMAC?
BMAC.
We can be the BREMAC then.
We'll just be Mac Answer
Oh my
Man.
gosh.
BREMAC Truths.
BREMAC. DGAM Max. We need some DGAM Max.
Yeah, we
We
do.
100% need those.
Anyway, we are back, guys. It's been, what did we decide? It was 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
2.5, 3.
Something
Three,
like that.
probably.
It's been a long time since we recorded an episode. We have, some of us been gone to Nantucket, to Pro Worlds, other people designing courses. Not sure what Robert was doing, but we have been busy.
Shut up. I've literally been next to you the entire time.
That's my point.
People who ask, where's Bobby? I just point.
So,
He's right there.
where's Bobby? Yeah.
He's here.
So yeah, we've had a great time doing a lot of traveling, but we are back here for a little bit, most of us. I know Eric's done a little bit of traveling for some disc golf.
Quite
design,
a bit.
So
Quite a bit of travel. And it's not just like going somewhere for a while. It's like flying there and then flying home the same day. That type of travel.
yeah, so
It's
your
been
recent
crazy.
one was Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. Very recent, actually.
Did a little final walkthrough of something going on in Flower Mound.
Yes.
Flower Mound. Tell us about that.
Flower Mound. Well, this course has been, close to 2 years in the making now.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's been a lot of red tape to go through. It's been quite the process. I originally first went down there, walked the property, and thought, wow, this is going to be great. And then they told me, hey, we're going to put in a walking path. I'm like, well, that kind of eliminates some of the cool stuff that I wanted to do, but that's okay. We can work around it.
Yeah.
And then they put the path in, and I went back out and designed it again. And then this final trip was I went down and did the final walkthroughs we had 13 people, like
Yeah.
city officials, parks department guys,
Gosh.
just construction workers that were walking it and like hammering in big stakes of where everything's going to go. And they're going all out on this course. They've got these big boulders they want to put the T signs on. They're doing nice tee pads. They're doing benches on like every 3 holes.
Jeez.
I mean, they're going the whole 9 yards for this course, and it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be very unique to the Flower Mound area. It's going to be, it's not going to be lengthy. There's not a lot of room, so we kind of shortened the course up just a hair, but it's going to be technical.
Gotcha.
Wow, is it going to be technical? There is so many just tight, shorter, just tight lines you got to hit. Quite a bit of elevation.
Sweet.
There's some a creek that runs through it. It's just going to be unique to the area for sure, and I'm excited for it to be complete, and I can't wait to get back down and play it.
That's awesome.
So
How far is drive from here if you were
from
to drive
Emporia,
it, though?
6 hours.
Oh, that's not too
Not too bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like I hate to rehash as long as we've been gone what we've been doing, but what other stuff did you do for course design during the weeks of Pro Worlds? Because I know you went somewhere, or is that for leisure?
Worlds. What did I do during the Pro
I thought you went
Worlds?
to California or something. Was that a different time?
That's in a couple weeks. That's
Oh,
for
okay.
USDGC.
Maybe that's
I'll
what
be
I was
in
thinking.
California then. The New York trip, we finished the finalizing up there. The Great Bend course here
Oh,
in
yeah.
Kansas, I kind of finalized up that. I did some fishing, finalized up that.
Finalized.
Nice.
I'm actually in a fishing
Finalized.
tournament right now.
What?
I'm in a fishing tournament, like an online fishing tournament.
For real?
Gabe and I said, let's do this. Like, I'm playing my first tournament right now, guys.
Dang,
It's kind of
dude,
a big deal.
your first tournament.
I'm trying to find the Fisherman's podcast somewhere, but I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Where they can send in a question and
Right.
ask about
The
stuff.
fisherman answer
The
man.
Fisherman Answer Man. But it's been cool. It's just like it's just a bass fishing tournament. I think there's 170 people competing in it.
And what do? You take pictures, I guess?
You take pictures. They give you a code, and you have to write that on a piece of paper, and you put the bass that you catch on a little measuring device,
Yeah.
and you have that sticker on there so you can't just take the same picture
Right.
and or use a past catch because it's like a 2-week window you have to do it. And I went out the other night, and actually both nights after the country club, I went and fished both nights.
Nice.
And I've caught my limit of 5, but you can continue fishing through the 2 weeks. And if you catch
Replace
something
your smaller
bigger,
ones.
replace your smaller ones. And right now, I think I'm in like 23rd place out of like 170 some players. So that's pretty cool, dude. I'm
That's
telling you.
crazy
Yeah.
how the online world is allowed.
It's an
something
online.
like that.
It costs $5 to play.
That's cool.
So I was like, hey, let's try this.
What place is Gabe in?
Gabe doesn't have a catch yet.
Gabe.
I know.
Rip.
Gabe, come on, dude.
Come on, Gabe. He's probably the one that took you out fishing,
He is.
and he hadn't caught
He
one
is.
yet.
That's right.
Funny.
He gave you your first reel, and it
Exactly. It says my first rod and reel on it.
recommended future reels.
Right, exactly.
My first lure.
So of course, me and Robert McCall were in Nantucket for the Oakley wedding. Kind of old news by now, but it's still a wonderful.
Old news.
Yeah, still
It
a
was
wonderful occasion.
It wasn't even that cool. It was just like whatever.
Then had the Nantucket Open out there. Terry Miller should be working on the round coverage for that and a coverage of the Raz round they had out there.
Cool.
Which was
So
really
we'll see
cool.
that in 2020.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
And then after that, we went to Pro Worlds and spent some time in Vermont. Had a really good time. Spent some time with our players, and then of course we had the big celebration of Paige Bjerkaas winning her first world champion, first of many, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We showed the YouTube people, but our audio listeners, make sure you go out to dynamicdisc.com and do a search for Paige Bjerkaas, or just look at the probably new releases. And there's actually a Paige Bjerkaas DyeMax kind of celebrating. Has a really cool picture, some cool artwork that Kevin did out here at Dynamic Discs. And it's just a cool way to commemorate, a cool way to celebrate, a cool way to support her because, as you would imagine, going into the season, she was doing well. So she was motivated to stay out on tour, and winning world champion, that's quite a motivation to say, let me see how far I can take this and how well I can do out there. She's just going to continue her touring this year as well as into next year. And the sales of these discs help her a lot.
Yeah.
Now, her signature disc, she mentioned it on a podcast, so I'm assuming we're okay.
I think we can talk about
I think
it
it
now.
was PDGA Radio podcast.
Yeah.
But her actual signature disc is going to be the Fusion Judge, because the Judge was very important to her, is very important to her game. And
Very important to her win.
Yeah, it was very important to her
Yeah.
win, but she was throwing that off the tee pad.
All the time. If
All
she
the
could
time.
throw a Judge off the tee and get a par, that was her play. And she did it nearly every time she took a Judge off the tee. She either parred or birdied.
And it worked for her because she was in the lead every round, right? Or one round.
I think she was one
She
back.
had the lead after the first round. She was 3 back after the first round
Yeah.
to
And then-
Rebecca. And then
right.
she got the lead after the round 1.
And then held it all the way
After
out.
held it
two.
all the way.
Yeah.
And then, of course, won it by five
6
strokes.
God, guys, I wasn't even there, and I know. She won by 6.
But by 6.
6.
You're thinking of me.
It was
I won
five,
mine
It
by
was 5 going in. You're right.
Okay. So anyway, so she used the
Oh,
Judge a
final
lot.
round, yeah.
Do we have an estimate on when that will be available?
I know that similar to when Paige Pierce won the World, we took the Defenders that we had and put the PP stamp
yeah.
on it, and we're doing that with the Fusion Judges as well.
Yeah. So we're working on
So
that
that
right
stamp is been ordered, so it will probably be here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and
You'll
then
be
of
seeing
course
something.
going into the future, you will be able to purchase a Paige Bjerkaas Fusion Judge.
Yes.
And it does make, because I used to have a DyeMax Fusion Judge, and I used to really like it. And I thought, maybe I should put it back in.
I'm gonna put I'm absolutely putting a Paige Bjerkaas signature disc in my bag. There's
That's gonna
no
be
doubt
cool.
about it. I will start throwing the Fusion Judge.
She made it look really easy to throw.
She good.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do before we get into the questions, I want to reward our YouTube watchers right now. Now, hang on, audio listeners, but YouTube watchers, this is what I want you to do. Real quick, Robert, why don't you tell us about the West Side Discs Underworld?
Yeah.
Underworld.
So the Underworld is, are we on this camera? Here we
I'm
go.
going to switch over to there.
Here we
Yep,
go.
there we
The West Side Disc Underworld is a great kind of fairway speed driver. This is good for easy turns to the right. If you're brand new to disc golf, this is going to be really straight for you and easier to throw than some other discs. And then if you've got a little bit more arm speed, a lot of people like this for really long turnovers or even rollers. The Underworld is really great for that. So if you haven't checked this out, I think it's a good type of disc to have in your bag, just something that you know you can get to the right or get to the ground. So Really good disc.
So what I want our YouTube watchers to do right now, looks like about 113 of you. I want to get that number up. Take a screenshot of you watching us, and then either post it on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, whatever is your social platform of choice. Tag myself at the very least, but also tag Eric and Robert, and tell everybody you're watching the Disc Golf Answer Man live, and tell them that you want them to watch it as well. And then
there's your screenshot.
From me being tagged and Dynamic Disc, from all those tags, I will reach out and I will select a winner at the end of this broadcast.
Underworld.
Got it? Does that make sense?
Makes
Take a
sense to
Snapchat
me.
of us.
Snapchat?
Screenshot us either on your phone, on your computer, post it on your social media platform, tag us, tell everybody you're watching Disc Golf Answer Man live, the #1 podcast, disc golf podcast out there. And then we will select a winner.
There it is.
And tag Terry Miller and Johnny V too.
If you want.
If you want as well. So, and that'll get you to Underworld. Now, for you audio listeners here in a little bit, I'll tell you how we can win. You can win a Moonshine Verdict.
Ooh, dang.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit. All right, let's get to the question, guys. We've been rambling on for about a minute.
I'll take the over.
Remember, guys, as always.
Hey, remember, guys, as always, go to discgolfanswerman.com to submit your questions.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We do our best to get it on the air. Let's go to SpeakPipe. Let me adjust my volume on the computer to make sure. Let me look at my mixer.
Mixmaster.
Whoa.
Hey, yo.
And we will hit play.
Hello, Disc Golf Answer Man. It's Benjamin Pesonen from Finland.
Hey.
Today, my question is about overturning approach putters. At the moment, I back.
Let me pause that real quick and do an adjustment here.
Is it going to break our ears?
I don't think so. There we go. We are good to go. Now let's try. There.
For that purpose, a Classic Blend Deputy, but I have unfortunately found it very unreliable, and it turns way too much that I wanted for that purpose. Also, I backed 2 premium plastic pures, so I was wondering that would, of course, and basic plastic pure would be more understable, but would it be like a slowly right turning disc for that purpose? Do you have any experience of basic plastic pures? And if not, do you have any other alternative suggestion for that purpose? Also, it was super awesome to meet you guys live here in Finland, in Tyyni. It was nice to talk with you, Robert, and nice to see you, Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and Eric E. McCabe too. You guys are awesome. Thank you for everything you do for disc golf and your show. I love it. And Dynamic Disc for sure. Be dynamic and be for real. See you guys again.
Love it.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
What advice do you guys have for him?
I have thrown base plastic pures before, and I think if you already enjoy premium plastic ones, then I think that's a great...
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think you switch over to that, work one in, and let it move to the right a little bit.
I used to throw the Gold Line Pures.
Same.
As my big turnover to approach putter.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first made the switch over, I went to those, and those things were awesome.
Yeah, they were
super really good flying discs. So yeah, I agree. I would definitely go with it'll be similar in feel. As far as another my other suggestion probably would have been the Deputy. So
right, if that's turning a little much for you,
maybe a premium plastic Deputy.
Yeah,
could work because they tend to be a touch more stable. But if you are looking for that baseline plastic, then I would go with the Pure.
Yep, that's good.
Excellent. All right, next one comes from Bailey.
Hey, Bobby, Eric, and Robert. This is Bailey from Fenton, Michigan. Calling today to see what your guys' experience with the fluid plastic was. I know DD doesn't make it anymore, but I recently found some fluid escapes in a local sporting goods store, and I wondered if they were worth the pickup or if you guys had any experience with them in the past. Thanks, and keep it real.
Being how you're from Michigan, I would absolutely pick up a couple of those if you play winter golf. I know in the winter around here, if it's cold and it's going to be windy, I will throw a fluid enforcer in my bag, and it feels and acts and flies pretty much just like a regular Lucid one does during the warmer months.
Right.
It's pretty beefy. I think the fluid plastic make things a touch more overstable. So, but with a disc like the Escape, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with having a slightly more overstable version of that. And like I said, in the wintertime, if you play in the winter, it's that fluid plastic is awesome in the winter.
Yeah, I've seen people really lean on some fluid moonshine escapes and have them be really, really straight. So might be a good one to check out.
And you never know, they could be worth something to somebody someday.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd snag them up.
Next one comes from Brandon.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man. This is Brandon from Utah. I've got a form/disc question for you. There's a certain disc, a certain fairway driver from a different manufacturer, which shall not be named, that everybody touts as being this super, super straight flying disc. In fact, I've seen a former world champion throw this disc in their most overstable plastic and throw it 350 feet dead straight with almost no fade at the end. Now, I bagged this disc. I've tried several different plastics, including the same plastic that this guy was throwing. And every single one that I've ever thrown, it just does nothing but go left for me. Super, super overstable. The most overstable pig I have ever owned. Have you guys seen this before, where two people throw the same disc, the same distance, because I'm throwing the same distance that he does in the 350 to 400 foot range, and with very, very different flight paths, different overstabilities? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Is this something that could be a form thing, or am I just unlucky enough to have only bought the pile of this disc that happens to be ridiculously overstable? And then, do you guys have a dynamic disc that you'd recommend, a fairway driver for that 350 foot range that would go super straight with almost no fade at the end? I'd love to hear your opinions. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, what are you guys' thoughts?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've kind of seen this in person where,
Right.
you know, I think Robert and I could almost do this with two of the same mold. I guess like maybe an Enforcer would come to mind.
Yeah.
Granted, it's probably not the same plastic. Like I have a nice Lucid one that I can get to fly relatively straight, similar to the way you throw your bios.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's all going to be different on how you release the disc, your arm speed. I mean, it absolutely will happen. I mean, every disc. That's why they say don't pay, you know, too much attention to the numbers. Just kind of get a general idea of how the disc is supposed to fly, and it's going to fly different for everybody.
Right.
I mean, it'll be close. Certain discs will be close, but for the most part, yeah, everything's going to fly different for every single person.
Right. And I think it's feasible to assume that somebody who is a world champion, I assume he's talking about Paul Macbeth, probably throwing a T-bird. If you hadn't caught that just yet,
if
I was going to
yes,
guess,
yeah.
And he exerts so much spin on the disc that he can get that to fly just really, really straight.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably not trying to throw it much over 350 or 400. He could if he wanted to.
Yes.
When people who have a little bit more regular arm speeds throw something like that, and they're not getting quite as much spin on the disc as somebody like Paul it is going to finish left a little bit earlier. And there, you know, if that's a champion disc for them, maybe his has worked in a little bit, maybe even new. It's just a little bit more, a little bit straighter than yours was. So it's really hard to compare actual disc to disc unless they were produced at the exact same time. Like
Same run.
So yeah, same plastic, same everything. So I wouldn't put any stock in that. I would keep working with what works for you.
Yeah.
You know, there's some discs that a lot of top guys throw that I don't really like throwing that much because it just doesn't work that great for me, and vice versa. But if you're asking for a disc from our line that does the same sort of thing, I think the Latitude 64 Explorer is a fantastic substitute. Really, really straight, and it's going to finish just a little bit left. As long as you get that spin on it, that's going to be really good. You might also look at a Lucid Convict for the same type of line. That'll probably have a little bit more fade, but it'll also have a little bit earlier turn.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would also check out the Bio Getaways.
Yes, a little bit farther for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely longer, but you can get it up to that 350 to 380, 400 feet pretty easily.
They stay in the air so long.
Yep.
It's crazy, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I dig it.
All right, next question comes from John M. This is a rules question. He says, does the PDGA have a regulation on dimensions of baskets for tournaments? I see the practice baskets that are skinny and wanted to know if they could be used on a course.
They do have regulations.
Yes, they do have specifications. They have specifications that you must adhere to in order to be PDGA
approved.
Now, of course, that you have different manufacturers that make different baskets that fall within those specs, but there's still going to be some variations here and there. As far as the skinny basket, if you're talking about ours, you're going to refer to either the Marksman from Dynamic Discs or the Latitude 64 Trainer.
I think it's called the Trainer, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the much skinnier one. There's, of course, a few others out there. I don't remember the names of them. But those are not PDGA approved for events. Now, you can run what's called an X tier event, which means it's still seen from the PDGA, but you don't. Do you get rated rounds?
You get rated rounds, but they don't count towards your rating,
right?
Because you're altering the rules in some way,
right? And so I know that Disc Dash for Cash did it in Utah, I believe, and they had one course had regular baskets, and the other course had marksman only basket. Now, it's really cool that this question came in, actually, because here in the next few weeks, we are actually getting delivered marksman baskets that are designed for permanent installation. That means that there are just slight changes to make sure that they hold up in the weather, because, the marksman basket is a quality basket, but it's designed for training. It's designed to pull out when you're ready to train and put back into a garage or a shed or something like that. But these ones are designed to be able to withstand some of the elements and be out on the course. I even had a guy reach out to me on Facebook and asked about marksman permanent installation. He was super excited to hear about these new ones coming out because he wants to put in a permanent course. I don't think that you're going to all of a sudden see big tournaments use these.
No.
But I think people are looking for something a little different, and to have these marksman baskets out on a course for one round or one of the courses, to me, I think it just kind of adds some variety.
Sure.
Well, it could also make that really easy course a little more challenging too, around the putting green at least. You got to get close.
What I like, what we do out at Jones East, is we have two practice baskets. One is a regular veteran basket, and the other one is a marksman basket. And so you've got two options when you want to practice. If you want to practice what you're going to play on, that's cool. But if you want to kind of hone in your putting right before a round, or just even if it's a casual round, you've got a marksman right there. And that's another thing maybe you can do is purchase one and put it in as a practice basket along with your regular practice basket. So anyway, I think we answered your question, John. Yes, you cannot officially have a marksman style basket. Next question comes from, John has another rule of questions. Is there a regulated size for minis and markers? I want to make my own and use as markers for tournaments.
Maybe we should just shoot him the PDGA rule book.
First of all, John, welcome to disc golf, because it sounds like you're brand new, and I know that sounds
awesome.
I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but I think it's really cool for people to discover the sport. They want to learn more about it, and I'm so glad you used this as a resource. Yes, there is a certain size spec. I don't know if anybody could look it up real quick, but there are certain size of minis and markers that you must use when you're in a sanctioned event. So you definitely want to adhere to that.
Yeah, so this says to be used in competition. Well, this says mini competition, but I think this is the same. Mini disc must be 4.5 inches or less in diameter.
Right.
So that's the size of our junior discs.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
So you can use a junior disc during mini competition? That's not right.
No,
that's what it says here.
No, that's not during the mini round at like Worlds. You can't use those.
I'm just reading what it said in front of me.
I'm pretty sure you can't, because if you can, I feel like everybody would.
Right, which would be awesome. But the maximum length of a mini is 4.5 inches.
There you go.
Anything smaller than that is good. It has to be below a certain height too. Let me double check that.
Do you want to just give him that rule that he could look that up too? If he wants to do some research on it.
To tell you the truth, I honestly just Googled PDGA mini marker. That's what came up. So hit him with it.
Hit him with it. Next one comes from James. This is about the weather. I recently moved to the Pacific Northwest and had my first round of disc golf in the rain, and it was terrible. I'm with you. I was wondering, what would you do different to play in the elements? Example, would you bring an extra towel in a Ziploc, gloves, umbrella, and mental preparation for the upcoming round?
Definitely an umbrella. I have an umbrella at least with me in my vehicle every tournament I play, whether the weather is calling for bad weather or not, because you never know. You never know when it's storm, especially living in the Northwest. You gotta have some, you got to be prepared out there, I guess. But one trick that I like to do, I like to take some of our dynamic disc dirt bags, and what I'll do is put some climbers chalk in a bag and kind of shake that up and put that in there with it and dry off my disc with a nice towel and then kind of just put it on my hands and maybe slap the disc a couple times, and it really helps with that grip. It looks kind of odd. Looks kind of weird because it does look like LeBron James. Like when I throw, it's just powder everywhere kind of thing. But it's pretty cool too. But it does really help with grip and consistency. It gives me that, next level of confidence when, you're playing an event and you're sitting here constantly trying to dry off your disc. It's just so annoying that you just can't get it all the way. And then you finally do. And then guess what? You get a little raindrop on it or
right under your thumb always.
It's like, golly. So I live by that stuff. The other thing is a dry pair of shoes and socks to change into in between rounds.
I agree. I think he said this, but I put my towels inside plastic bags so that when I get into the top of my bag, take one out, use that, and then the top of your bag is going to cover it for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a Ranger or something like we usually carry. But throughout the round, you don't want the rest of those towels to get wet by touching the other towel. So
a lot of times I'll have a chamois type towel.
Mm-hmm.
Like one towel dedicated to the first wipe. That's just like if
Yes.
it's muddy or
Just
something.
get
That's
it all
just,
off,
and
right.
then I put that in my drink holder, my second drink holder. That way it can just stay pretty nasty throughout the round.
Yep.
So
for sure.
Something that I'll throw in there, and I think you may have briefly mentioned it, but I noticed Dixon will bring like 5 towels sometimes when he knows it's going to be pretty raining quite a bit. And I think that is so smart because people think, I'll just bring a towel because it's going to rain. And they don't realize that if it's raining pretty much the whole round, that towel is going to be soaked.
Oh, you're done by just a few holes.
Yeah, because you're not just because it's going to get rained on, but because you're constantly drying off your disc, and that's going to be soaking up that water. So I would definitely recommend if you look at the weather and it's going to be a lot of rain throughout the round, to bring several towels.
I haven't seen a top player who keeps less than about 3 or 4 towels in their bag all the time.
Yeah.
So
Mini marker discs must have a circular shape with a diameter ranging from 7 centimeters to 15 centimeters and height not exceeding 3 centimeters.
There's the height, yeah.
Mini markers can be made from a variety of materials, plastic, metal, and wood. And this is taken from Rule 802.06.
Cool.
Marking the lie. And then there's a link that says PDGA Technical Standards.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. And another trick that Dixon does is when doesn't have enough towels or his towels, I noticed that he doesn't. So you throw it, lands in the water, you pick it up. He doesn't dry off the entire disc.
Just the part that he's going to use.
Just the part where he's going to. So that's if you kind of have to be sparing with your towels.
Yep.
I just bring like 80 discs
There you go.
of each.
This one's
each
wet?
one's dry.
Yes,
I just leave it
that's
back.
awesome.
I just
Does
putt
anybody
and
want a
then
free
leave
disc?
it.
It's taking your putter rotation to the next level.
Yes, it is.
All
Every
right.
putt.
Let's see. We never did talk about the Country Club Classic that we just had this past weekend.
The ECCC.
ECCC. We had an event out here at the Emporia Country Club. Had about 100 folks come out and play. It was a little on the humid side, but for the most part, a nice day. It wasn't super
It
windy.
wasn't bad. The wind was not
The
blowing.
wind
at-
was
It was
great. It was up at
absolute-
times, but
It was
Yeah.
absolute scoring conditions.
definitely.
And but the grass was nice and green. The country clubs looked really
It looked
nice.
for people that don't know what the country club looks like this time of year.
It was nice.
We did have a video that will be coming out with it, like lead card footage.
Yes.
And watch that video, and you'll be. Honestly, I hope people will be amazed by the way the country club looks, because everything does look green. You know that during Glass Bowl and Open time, it's everything's kind of still dormy, and that the fairways are still dead for the most part, and so everything's yellow. But it just looked really good.
And it plays a little different because everything is grown in.
Yeah,
a little bit tougher.
little skippy too, and
Yeah.
so, yeah.
And right now, as we speak, Anthony is working on the lead round coverage. Danny helps him out with some graphic work, and we're going to have someone that we know, some people we
two of
know
us.
on the lead card.
Yeah.
So should I tell everybody? Spoil it if we tell people?
I posted it.
Oh, okay.
It's not a spoiler at this point.
Yeah.
So Zach Johnson from
I won.
Dang it.
Spoiler alert.
Zach Johnson from Latitude 64 won in a eight hole playoff
Yep.
with who?
It was impressive too, that playoff.
Right.
It was
good.
cool. 8 holes.
Yep.
So,
Granted, they played
We
1
played
and 7
two
back to 4,
Right.
6
Pretty
times,
easy birdies.
which is
We birdied them 5 of the 6 times.
Yeah. Well, the winner shot 5 down,
What on the
7 down, I think, or
on the-
whatever
on the day?
on the final 9.
the winner shot 6 down.
6 down on the final 9.
So Robert had a very good performance and was able to be tied for the lead at the end of both rounds, which we had to go to a playoff.
Yep.
Was a long playoff.
Yeah, 8 holes is quite the
quite a
playoff.
And it came down to one putt, right? Pretty
Came
much
down to the island hole.
We went-
is
Yeah.
what it came to.
The
And
island
that's
hole.
what I think everybody knew was going to happen.
Yeah,
that's
and it
the hole
should.
that's gonna,
It's a perfect separator
it's a
hole.
great hole for that.
But,
And yeah, by the time I made the island, I thought like I probably just won this. You know,
And Robert threw first.
I had to go first the whole time.
Every
yeah.
time he went first. So when he made the island first, that's when it was like,
Well, yeah, pressure's on.
probably over.
And then Zach put an even better shot on the island. Mine was on the island, but if you've seen the country club before, the basket is now on the back
Right side.
Yeah.
'Cause It's a permanent pin now, as where before it was portable.
Right. And so even if you land the island, you don't have a guaranteed 2 like you did before, or not guaranteed, but at least close to it. So I was probably around 40 feet in bad footing, but still on the island.
Mhm.
And Zach stepped up and just threw like a really pure forehand with a stiletto and landed like 20.
did
it
you
was
throw?
sick.
Did you throw the same throw that you threw the previous round?
I used the same disc each time.
Yeah.
You made the island every time, right?
I did make the island
all
every
3
time.
times.
This one was low. I was lucky for this one to get on, but it took a 1 hop and stayed on.
That's the
It
shot.
hopped off the water, right?
That's the
It
shot.
did,
on that
but
hole.
but it is like you don't want to. If I fly the middle of the green, I'm probably off the back.
Yep.
yeah.
So the play is on the short side. I just played it a little bit shorter than I wanted and was fortunate to be on.
And Zach did did he do his forehand?
Forehand.
And
Spiked right in the middle.
Yeah, he landed his at 20, so I knew I needed to run my putt, even with the wind and bad footing. In competition, I probably lay that up, but
Yeah, of course.
at a playoff, I mean, I have no choice but to run it. It just didn't connect.
And I'm really surprised that he didn't lay his putt.
I
up.
told him he could. I said,
I cannot believe it, because if you miss that putt,
Yeah.
you're going to the next hole.
yeah, we're both taking fours.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, but he's like, no, I'm gonna make it, and he just made it. So okay, sweet.
So I don't mean to bring it up.
What?
Because you played well,
Sure.
but you could have won it on
I had an opportunity to win on the second
first
hole.
the
Yeah.
first go around on hole 7.
The first time we played hole 7, yeah. So hole 7 is, in my opinion, one of the easier birdies on the course, assuming that you can get kind of somewhere around the ditch.
It's probably the easiest par 4 on the course.
Yeah, I'll agree. And both Zach and I just kind of had weird lies from where our drives landed, and both didn't throw great approaches. So Zach from like 40 splashed out to the right side, and I was circle's edge or so, maybe a foot outside or a foot inside, but a little bit uphill. And all I was thinking mentally was just make sure you get it there. Make sure
you had made those putts that week.
all day.
Yeah.
All day. I was just saying, instead of going through my normal routine, lesson to you if you are.
And people actually noticed that.
Yeah. Instead of going through my normal routine, I just thought to myself, don't leave it short. And I 100% did not leave it short. In fact, I putted it about 3 feet over the basket.
Hit the flag.
Maybe higher. And one of the worst putts I've thrown all year, I'm just going to tell you right now. And put it like 20 or 25 past and made like another difficult putt to make to just extend the playoff. But I made it. And then we birdied 4 in a row. And anyway, yeah, I had a shot. The thing is, I had an opportunity to win. And so that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't capitalize that time.
Right.
Had I, we would have gotten to just walk back up to the top and it would have been great. Instead, we played 1-7 a few more times. But it was good. It was a super fun weekend. And most importantly, I don't even care about winning because who cares about that? Most importantly, this weekend averaged 1030. It was 1033, 1027 round averages.
So for any new listeners,
Sorry,
why is
Bobby.
that significant? Well, when Robert first started working here, I'll try to give you the short version. I told him that his disc golf game would suffer. And he said, no, it won't. And I said, yes, it will. No, it won't. Yes, it will. And it came down to make it interesting, I bet him that he would not get to 1,000, be 1,000 rated player from about a little over a year ago, all the way. I gave him all the way till 2019.
Yep.
I should have said he had to be 1,000 rated at 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But
which would have been impossible
Right.
for me. Not impossible, but really hard.
But the bet was he has to. But any update from now until 2019, if he hits 1,000, then he wins and I lose, and
Yep.
then vice versa. And so, of course, this is in
This
the
is-
positive,
this
but
is
there's
the-
still
This is okay.
You're SOL.
Yeah. Now it's possible, right? So
Robert did the math. Talk us through the math.
I did some spreadsheeting recently,
I
and
was cracking up when he showed.
I put all my rounds in, and
I wish
figured
we should have recorded a video of it and showed
yeah,
people
I'll
on
have to
YouTube.
show them sometime. Put all my rounds in and calculated where I was going to end up, and I'm currently dropping a 941 rated round because it's below 2.5 times my standard deviation. Right at 997, it's at 941.
940. Where'd you shoot that?
Vintage. It was a garbage round.
I just wanted you to think about it again.
Thanks.
Go
Awful weather.
To relive it.
Awful weather. Really
bad.
super windy. It sucked. Anyway,
I get it.
so that's dropping right now. Now, the only downside of shooting so well this weekend is that those 2 rounds are above my current standard deviation. So it's going to raise it a little. So it may re-include that 941.
I feel like you should be using your nerd voice. The standard
So it may re-include that 941 if the standard.
input it.
So anyway, yeah. So I have those calculated.
right.
If the rounds stay as they are now, I'll hit 1,000 rated on the next update.
Right.
If they drop at all,
Right.
then it's going to be really close. It could be the dreaded 999, which would be kind of a heartbreaker.
And that October 9th,
October 9th. So I'll be back from USDGC. It'll be the Tuesday right after that.
what time do they usually post them during the day?
When I wake up, I'll check it.
Oh, I was thinking we maybe don't check.
Oh, that's gonna be impossible.
And then
I don't think I could not
I
check.
thought we could go live on Disc Golf Answer Man and check.
I mean,
them at the same
we
time.
can, like, if you want to do it in the morning.
I have a feeling though, if people are going to be looking our
people already
listeners,
know.
and they're gonna say something.
The first time I hit 1,000, I found out because someone posted it on Facebook. Before I didn't even think I was anywhere close, and someone posted it, and I was like, "Oh, sweet!"
that was a long time ago.
yeah. That was in 13.
So what's on the line is if I win, or if either win, if I win, I get to make a DyeMax disc of a disc that he has to throw, and I can put anything on it, and
Right.
then of course he can do the same if he wins, and then the loser has to buy the other person lunch, and I think we kind of turn it into a Torchy's Taco adventure.
yeah, probably down to Tulsa or
Yeah,
something
we'll go
like
play around in Tulsa and eat at Torchy Tacos, and maybe have Eric come along if you want
Nah,
some
I'm
Torchy's Tacos.
that. He doesn't like Torchies. He told me.
We could do
Yeah.
like a disc golf answer man.
I've only been there a couple times, and I'm not as fanboy as you guys.
But what did you
But
get
hey,
though?
honestly, don't know.
yeah, that's
See,
the
you
problem.
gotta.
You gotta know.
I'll order for
Well,
you.
no, I don't know because I don't even remember the experience.
That's
that's why. 'cause
So
it's been
anyway, so
long.
that's, and then of course bragging rights.
Well, and I've come up with some other ideas in the meantime that I think
Well,
would
you
be
can't
cool.
after the fact.
No, they're not included in the bet, but I just like whatever disc we make, maybe we make it available publicly so
Oh,
people
yes.
could order it if they want to.
I think that'd be good.
Fans of the show could, make fun of you or me. They already make fun of me, so it'd be nice to, spread the wealth.
So anyway, okay, so that's enough on that. So that's
Yeah.
the significance of.
We
so
did it.
good job, Robert, for good play over the weekend
Thanks.
for sure. Next one comes from Jeremy. Jeremy Rusco's
Oh,
needing a little help
nice.
on. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what Jeremy this is.
probably.
Hey, my name is Jeremy from Davenport, Iowa. Been playing disc golf for about a solid year now. I have a question on distance. Now I'm a shorter guy, about 5'7", and I can throw about 325. Now my main go-to is the trespass, and I was just curious on how I can squeeze a little bit more distance out without that big long reach back of those big long legs. Thanks.
There you go.
How do you get
Okay.
more distance without having a big long reach back and long legs?
Mm-hmm. He currently throws the trespass.
I mean, Paige Pierce doesn't have like long legs and she throws super far, right? So
Mhm.
throwing far doesn't have a ton to do with your physicality as much as it does your technique. And having a full reach back is important to getting more distance, plain and simple. I mean, Eric and I, neither one of us reach super duper far back. Eric has a little bit more of a reach back than I do. But getting that sort of extension is what allows you to, I don't know, develop that inertia all the way through. So really, without changing some of that, you're not ever going to cap out at the highest, like the farthest distance that you could, if you're just kind of keeping your arm, inside your chest or a little bit behind your back shoulder. You really need to reach back a little farther than that.
Yeah, and I would also stress to work on like your core strength and some flexibility. That's the reason I can throw. I mean, I'm not saying I throw far, but decently far.
Oh, you throw far.
I can throw far enough.
Eric's being modest. He throws pretty far.
The reason is because of my flexibility. That's what I owe a lot of it to, is my flexibility. So
Right.
being able to stretch and really work on that core strength really will help out a little bit too. And maybe even, try a couple other different discs.
Sure.
Too.
And your technique overall is really important. Like Danny just put in the chat, #power pocket, right? Getting your elbow to be leading so that you're not just rotating with your shoulders first, and you get it into that spot where you can really pop it. I mean, that's really important.
Mm-hmm. Pop,
Yeah.
lock,
Is it pop and
and
lock?
then drop.
Yes.
That's how you do it.
Yes.
What's that from?
Oh, and another watcher here. It's either TM or time. It's probably just something.
Okay.
He says grunting doesn't affect distance either, and I think it does.
No, I think it does.
If you grunt, guaranteed extra 1 foot.
and your
Oh,
form is so much better, though.
Well, yeah, it cleans
Yeah.
everything up, obviously.
Yeah, it cleans everything up. It's just the releasing of the.
It's like a tennis player.
Yeah. Except we were watching. What was it that was being played during Pro Worlds?
The U.S. Open.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't just grunt. They're like, ah,
Oh my gosh.
ah.
Whoa.
Please
stop.
Please nobody. Please nobody capture that audio.
Please do.
It's
Capture
just
that audio.
ridiculous.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous the way they sound when they're out there doing that. So,
Gosh.
anyway. Next one is from Anonymous. So we'll be ready to hit stop if we have something bad.
Have you not heard these?
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Man? This is Chad coming to you from Richmond today. I hope you guys are having a great day. And I have a question about flight numbers. Now, I know just everybody fell over on the floor with excitement, but easy. I think this is actually a really important topic. And I get it. We
Nope. No, I'm just playing. Here we go.
love to whine about flight numbers. I get it. It's fun to make fun of them. We think they're useless. Kind of like a new Adam Sandler movie.
False.
But you know what? They're everywhere. They're on people's discs. There's a lot of new players entering the sport. They could be a really great thing. Right now, they're more of a pain in the butt. Is there any way to fix this? Is there a way maybe the PDGA could make a ubiquitous standard amongst brands or something like that? Or do they just need to die and be killed with fire, kind of like the Twilight Saga? That's my first question. Second question, I'll leave it.
All right, we'll go to the first one. Yes, the Twilight Saga needs to go away. So
What do you
first of
mean?
all,
it needs to go away. It hasn't like been
How long-
relevant for like how many
I haven't-
years
I haven't
now?
thought about that in forever.
I'm sure people
And I
out
worked with middle schoolers for a
there-
long
I'm sure
time. Okay.
Netflix has it somewhere.
So awesome.
So, okay. First of all, you misquote us. If we've ever said useless, it was just for, quote, clickbait or to get people's attention. But we've always clarified and said that they're just a guide. They're not completely useless. I understand when you're just starting out, you don't understand anything about disc golf or how things work, and the numbers help you. When they become, quote, useless is when you start using them to figure out or to
Not
turn
try
your-
a disc.
yeah, when you turn yourself away from a disc because you're like, oh, that's not the numbers I was looking for. Or if you've been playing for 3 months and you pick up a speed 14 disc expecting to throw like a Paul Macbeth, it's not going to happen. That's when the numbers become, quote, useless.
Right.
Now, as far as PDGA making a set standard, people argue all the time we could have a robot or we could have a throwing machine. There's so many other variables that affect it.
Yeah. Do you want to pay for that robot, by the way?
You want to
Elevation.
pay for all that research in robot.
Wind.
Elevation, wind, how fast it shoots out of the machine, even if it's done the same.
Right.
It's just there's too many variables, and so it is what it is. Until someone can figure something else out, it is what we have.
I mean, they're just there for us to talk about.
Right.
Yes.
And they're important, but they're not important. They have a place in the disc golf world, but don't become so set, or they're not religion. They're not the de facto of how a disc is going to fly because there's so many variables.
Yeah. Basically, don't not try a disc because it's a speed 11 or more or less or whatever.
Yeah. It's like the
know what I
definition
mean?
of don't knock it till you try it. Like,
Yeah. I was
throw the disc. And then if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. No problem.
recent example is Jeremy Rusko, perfectly good thrower. Getaway is now his distance driver. He
Yeah,
throws
believe
it
it.
so many times.
Mhm.
Because that thing just glide. It's what, a speed 9?
2?
No. Speed 9, I believe.
Speed 9 is right.
Speed 9. So, Anyway. All right. Second part of his question.
Space here for Bobby. Cool Daddy, Slick Face, or whatever to pause. So pause.
Yep, you're done.
Already paused it.
I know.
Cool Daddy, Slick Face.
Cool Daddy, Slick Breeze. I've been called Slick Daddy Breeze, Cool Slicky Breeze.
Bobby, that's very intentional that he called you that.
I know that.
Why are you so salty, dude?
What do you got? Because it's hot and I'm tired. We got to close the air.
Because you're about to
conditioning
get
vent.
smoked in that ratings.
Probably.
Hey. Hey.
Now, as you all know, there's a lot of drama going on about baskets right now. Do they need to be smaller? Do they need to be bigger? Do we all need to fly around on unicorns and own ferrets as pets? The answer to that is yes. But I only have one question for you guys. What's your favorite kind of cake? You like, lemon with chocolate, or my personal favorite, strawberry cake with strawberry icing? What's your favorite? Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.
I do not like the strawberry cake with strawberries because that is too sweet.
Yeah.
Way too sweet. I would say my favorite kind of cake is a pineapple upside down cake.
Ooh, yeah. That's fantastic.
If you make it right.
I don't love pineapple, but even that, I'll make an exception.
And then
for
you
it.
put it on a pizza. No, you don't put it on
No, never.
So pineapple upside down cake, if it's nice and moist and made right, it's so good. What do you guys got?
Cake.
I mean, I don't eat like a whole lot of cake, but I like just like regular old yellow cake, regular old vanilla icing.
Boring.
I think like that's really good.
Boring.
I'm not saying it's the best. I'm just saying it's really good. But I really love Tres Leches cake from
yeah, you mentioned that before.
Yeah, from a place in Austin called Chewy's.
Oh no, you didn't mention that before.
Chewy's.
Danny, me and Danny went to.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, he said Tres Leches.
Is that the Mexican restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been there. It's good.
What about you, Eric?
I like ice cream cake.
Yeah, I'm down with that also.
Yeah. The Reese's ice cream cake.
Reese's anything, I'm in.
It is so good.
Yeah.
Oh, you had it?
No.
It is so good.
You got Reese's Dr. Pepper? Yeah, I'm in.
It's so good.
That's a lot of sweet.
I don't care. Reese's anything. I just said it.
Next one comes from Chris. He asks, I am playing 3 to 5 days during the week. Whew, that's a lot, dude. On Saturday and Sunday, I play a regular bag round and putters only round. In what order should I play these rounds? Putters and then regular bag, or regular bag and then putters?
I don't think it matters.
Same.
But I guess if it was me, I'd probably go putters first, just so I can dial in my accuracy.
And then compare the two to see, like, where am I really gaining by throwing something faster than this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our Disc Golf Strong moment of the week. I just want to interject real quick some advice that Seth Muncie gave us. Playing 3 to 5 days during the week, you need to make sure you're stretching. You need to make sure you're doing a cool down or warm up, because that is a lot. Just think about it. You're throwing at full power. That is a lot of stress on your body. And so you just need to be real careful. Be careful.
I mean, when you first start out, that's what you do, though.
Sure.
You play daily,
and then you're like, I'm so sore. What even happened? Yeah, you played 4 rounds of disc golf.
Well, that's what Seth says. He gets a lot of times he'll get messages. People say, man, my shoulders are all jacked up. And he'll say, how often you play? Well, man, I love this game. I play like 5 times a week. I'm like,
well, yeah,
that's why. Yeah, you're out getting a walk, you're out getting some movement and stuff like that, but you're still putting your body under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Second
Depends
question.
on the course you kind of play too. It could be like if you played 3 to 5 rounds a week at Hammond Park,
no problem.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Second question: during the week, are there any other ways to play rounds during the week that would improve my game? This guy just wants to play every day, every moment.
Just go out and throw as hard as you can.
Go play Emporia
Do
Country.
not cool down and no warm ups.
Go play Country Club.
I would recommend not going out to the course, but not playing rounds. Go out and just find a grouping. If your course is similar to ours and not like super popular where a lot of people are out there playing, find an area that has a few baskets on it that you can just kind of throw approaches at, and it takes a little bit less strain on the body, and you can just kind of throw your putters and your mids. And then I like to play a game sometimes. Denise and I will go out and we'll take a stack of like putters, and we'll take 5 to 10, and we'll throw approaches from a couple hundred to 280, and the game is you have to you throw like all 5 or all 10, and you have to make each putt.
Nice.
And you get points for each one, and you play to like 30 or whatever. So it's kind of fun, and it kind of is that competitive mode. and it's not as rough on you, but you're working on your game, you're having fun, and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. I heard someone talking the other day about they play what's called a par 4 game where they throw away from the basket. Like if you're, say for me, if I was trying to work on a forehand, I'd throw my mid ranges away from a basket, 310, 320, not crushing them, but putting something on them, and then go out to those and throw forehands in from there to try and approach the basket. So yeah, just change it up to make it so it's not just throwing the same shot on the same hole every single time.
All right, real quick with our YouTube viewers, I've seen a few. I've checked my Facebook, and I've seen a few people sharing out on Twitter and whatnot. But real quick to let you know, you can win a Westside Discs Underworld if you take a screenshot of us here on the Disc Golf Answer Man, post it to your social media, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, tag at least me, tag Dynamic Disc so I can know about it, and I will pick a winner to send out that Underworld. Now, for our audio listeners, the Moonshine Verdict. Eric, tell us about the verdict and the moonshininess.
The moonshininess. Well, the moonshine is our plastic. It is our glow-in-the-dark plastic.
Yes.
It is the verdict. Everybody knows what the verdict is.
All right, that's the verdict.
It's a great overstable mid-range. It's actually one of the first mids that we had come out with after, if you count the Suspect and the Fugitive and all that good stuff. But the verdict has been a staple in a lot of people's bags, I would say. And then it's got a little bit of a dome to these moonshine guys. Well, do you have a verdict in your bag right now?
I have a Lucid X in right now.
I have a Lucid X in my bag as well, but it very rarely comes out. But I do enjoy throwing the verdict if the wind's up a little bit and I'm not trusting like my EMAC Truth to hold that line. I'll throw that verdict in it. It basically, for me, the verdict flies like the EMAC Truth does into headwind.
Right.
Not like crazy headwind, obviously, but a decent amount of headwind. But it feels great in the hand. It feels just like the rest of our mids, which is wonderful. So it does kind of have that similar EMAC Truth evidence kind of feel to it. So if you're looking for something that's just a little bit more overstable, the verdict is what you want.
Yeah, nice and reliable.
Excellent. So for our audio listeners, this is what you must do, just like we've done in the past. Take a screenshot of you listening on your podcast app. Pay attention, YouTube viewers. This doesn't mean a screenshot of you watching it. You are only eligible for the Underworld doing it that way. Take a screenshot of you listening on your favorite podcast app, then post it to Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Tag me and tag Dynamic Disc so we can find it. And this will go out tomorrow. So Friday before I leave for the day around 5 p.m., I will select a winner and reach out to them, and I will send them this Moonshine Verdict. Now, if you're a YouTube watcher and you're like, does that mean I have a chance to win the Underworld and then later the verdict? Absolutely.
Sure, why not?
That's the bonus for tuning in live. You get now a chance to win the Moonshine Verdict as well. You cannot win both. And full disclosure, these are discs that we've used in reviews or in any other kind of videos. So there might be some grass on it or some marks from it skipping off the ground or something like that. But
I couldn't even tell on
these look pretty good.
Yeah, so they're just not good enough to put back on the shelf and send out to stores. So, but we're going to give these away. Now, pay attention. Don't send me in Facebook Messenger showing me the screenshot. Don't post it to the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group. You need to post it to your page, your Twitter, your Instagram, and tag people and let people know you're listening to the Disc Golf Answer Man podcast. Good deal?
Good.
We got time for a few more questions. Or is there anything that I've missed that we should be talking about?
Nope.
We talked about
tons of things, but that's okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. This one comes from Andy. Nard Dog.
The Nard
Sorry,
Dog.
You just got Nard Dog.
Shot selection. I just carded a snowman on a hole because I was stuck in the trees for 4 shots.
Yep.
In hindsight, I would have scored better if I pitched out into the fairway. Nope. I decided to try to power through to the basket.
Yeah.
After throwing into the woods, when do you decide to pitch out instead of trying to power through and advance toward the basket? That's a good question.
It is a good question. I think it's situational. Honestly, like it depends on where you're at in your round, how well or how bad you're playing. If you're trying to catch somebody, if you're protecting the lead, if you actually have a gap through the woods to try to attack. For me, I think if I throw something deep in the woods, majority of the time I'm just going to take my medicine and pitch out, because I've learned from experience over the years that trying to throw that hero shot usually turns into the zero shot.
Yeah.
Which is never a good thing. So I would say the majority of the time I'm pitching back to the fairway.
Yeah. For me, it's a game of percentages, right? If I do have a gap to the basket, I'll just try and think through how many times do I hit this to where I have like a serviceable lie at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And say it's more than half, or I really need a stroke, I'll play that. Otherwise, I do not have any shame in just turning sideways and making sure that I'm out of the trees. Because sometimes you can still save par from there. Heck, if you're on a par 5, maybe you can still save birdie if you throw up, a couple miracle shots. But even I think conceding something like a par or a bogey is way better than, like you said, taking an 8 or a 9 or something. That's how big numbers happen, is when you can't advance the disc more than 10 feet at a time.
At Masters Worlds this year, I threw my first ever backwards shot.
Yep.
Meaning not like a patent pending type shot, but legit threw the shot backwards down the fairway, because it was I don't know if you guys are familiar with hole 7 at Waterworks.
Mm-hmm.
I threw my shot and it clipped the tree and kicked way left down in the 6's fairway. I was in the middle of 6's fairway, and there was one tiny little window that I could have gone for to get up and give myself a putt for par.
Right.
But at that point, I wasn't playing super great, and I didn't want to be just dumb, so I just legit threw it backwards to give myself a look to get up and down for my bogey.
Yep.
And I was successful with getting my bogey, as where if I would have tried to go up through the trees, I may have gotten a 4, but that brings 5, 6, 7 into play.
Oh, so fast.
So fast.
Super fast.
Andy has another question. He says, actually, he has a statement, then a question. I'm sorry, Robert, you don't have the best hair at DD.
Who does? Paige
Hands
Bjerkaas?
down, the title goes to Paige Bjerkaas.
Well, first of all, unfair advantage. She's been growing hers out a lot longer than me. Okay. Second of all, if I could have hair that long and still be like kind of reasonable, I mean, I'm interested.
Would it be wavy or curly, or have
Nope.
you ever grown it out that long?
I've had it down to like not quite my shoulders, but close to it when I was in high school and college and stuff, just for fun, because why not?
Right.
And it's pretty straight. It has like a little, like, I don't know, flare out on the side, but it's not cool like Paige's, who's super wavy. And yeah.
See, the question is, considering Anton's second place finish at Worlds again, who are the best 3 players in the world that have not won a world title?
The best 3 players who have not won a world title?
Oh, I said 3. When do I?
Huh.
Well, Anton's one of them, I would say.
Yep. I mean, if you want to just go strictly off ratings, you're looking at Eagle, Simon. Rating wise, probably Chris Dickerson is right there too.
Would Nico be
I
up
wouldn't
there?
consider him, though, because he hasn't put in the time yet.
Yeah, and that's maybe what you could say about somebody like Eagle, even though he's been playing at a high level for quite a while, just not as long as the other guys.
What about Nate Sexton?
Yeah, you got to include if we're saying guys who have been playing for like a long time.
I don't know. I'm just who would you say? I would say that have put in some time.
Yeah,
what you got to, because you can't consider guys that have only been touring for like 2-3 years. You can't even put him in that mix.
Sure. So yeah, so Anton is way up there. Sexton is definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
Who else would? Yeah, Nico might be in that conversation. Although he's got his ups and downs, but his ceiling is so high, right? If he pops off,
we have high ceilings.
Okay, vaulted ceilings. I don't know if you guys can see him. If he pops off, he can shoot 1090, 1100. Huge ceiling.
He's won majors.
Sure. Yeah.
Just not worlds.
Right?
USDGC. Yeah. I think he won another one too in Europe.
What are people? Anybody bringing up a name that we haven't thought of on the chat board there?
Not seeing it. Tim says Matty O. Matty O's been at it for a little while.
He's got a couple Final 9 finishes, or Final 9 appearances at Worlds. Yuli would be another one that's.
I'd put Yuli in that group.
Yuli's
he's been close.
He's
so
been
many times.
right there so many times, and not just with majors, but with NTs. And I know he won the Britt Hambrick Memorial a few years back, but he's always right there and grinding. And that's what I love about Yuli. He's always doing it and with a smile on his face.
He's a good dude. I like Yuli.
Yeah.
And total props to Greg Barsby. Obviously, congratulations, Greg Barsby.
100%.
He's been in the game for a long time. A deserved win.
Yeah.
But I got to admit, in the moment, in Vermont, when I saw Yuli up there, I walked up to him, gave him a hug. I said, "Dude, I am rooting for you."
Nice.
Just because, he's had some DD history, and I
right,
knew him.
and you have personal history with him as well.
When I first started in disc golf, he was one of the young kids that I would video and did some in the bags with him and stuff like that. So there's some disc golf history between me and him. We've had quick little talks every now and then.
He started his DD sponsorship as just a hat sponsor. He goes, "I just want a hat sponsor. I don't want anything else. Just give me some hats."
That's super funny.
That's what he started out at DD with, just hats.
And every time I see him, first time I see him at an event, he'll always go up to him and say, all of a sudden from the distance I hear, "That's one cool daddy."
Yeah.
He always says that. So anyway,
he's a cool cat.
I rooted for him. That's somebody who I'd like to really see win a Worlds, because I think that would be well deserved.
True.
Win for sure.
True.
Any other names on YouTube? Nothing?
Yeah, there's some that I agree with and disagree with here. I won't say which are which, but we've got Matty O, Cameron Colglazier, Yuli, Bradley Williams. Somebody said Drew Gibson, Philo, Jeremy Coling, Kale LaVisca. Those are most of the ones that I've seen so far. Some really good players on there, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think they're caliber wise quite to the level of the guys that we talked about just a second ago. Sexton is he's top 5, 6 in the world right now. Maybe a little higher than that.
I don't know.
But yeah, anyway. Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's go to one more speak pipe. This is from Dennis.
The Menace.
What's going on, Disc Golf Answer Man Squad? This is Dennis out of Austin, Texas. Had a little rules question for you today. A good buddy of mine recently told me that you could place your mini marker behind your discs. So say you were off in, the Texas rough, as pretty rough, as you should know, and you can't quite get a good foot placement behind your disc. So you could actually save yourself a few inches by placing.
Hold on. I don't know if that's on his end or our end.
I think it's on his end.
Well, the other ones have been popping too. Sorry, hold on. Patience. I'm going to try to see if I need to order another cable because I think that one's screwed up. Oh, let's see if that.
Your mini marker behind your disc, and then taking your 12 inches back. I was wondering if that was legal. So I always figured you'd have to put your mini, obviously, in front of your disc, or not at all. So yeah, it'd be really much appreciated if you could answer that for me. I even looked at the PDGA website and couldn't quite figure it out. So
yeah, we'll stop there. I apologize for the popping there. I'll look into it once we're done with this episode. So placing your mini marker behind your disc is an absolute no.
Yeah, that's basically creating. It would be creating a new lie.
Yeah.
For the I guess you can argue that putting it in front would be too, but yeah, no, you can't put it behind.
No, I don't know the specific wording of the rules.
It's the same one that you pulled up earlier, 802.06.
Yeah.
Marking the lie. The position of a thrown disc on the inbounds playing surface marks the lie. Alternatively, the player may mark the lie by placing a mini marker disc on the playing surface, touching the front of the thrown disc on the line of play. A mini marker is a small disc not used in play.
So basically, the way you think about it, and I see a lot of people will line up, is you put the mini in front of your disc,
in line with
look at the basket, and you kind of just think of a straight line down right in front of your right in front,
in line with a basket,
Yeah.
or if there's a mando that you haven't passed to
Right.
where you can see the basket yet, then that's
right.
it.
So you can't put the mini to give yourself a better advantage. You have to specifically do it.
Exactly.
To put it in line with play.
Now, the last part of that rule, letter D, says marking the lie in a manner other than described above is a marking violation. A player receives a warning for the first marking violation. A player receives 1 penalty throw for each subsequent violation of any marking rule during the round.
Correct.
Get it out.
Get it out.
Huh.
And a big thing, not a big thing, we didn't see a lot, but we saw it happen a couple of times that people don't. Another thing to know about your lie when you're throwing is that you cannot step on your lie when you're in the throw.
Yep.
And
That's a foot fault.
There was a specific time that me and Robert saw that happen a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be real careful. Now, if you're thinking, you should have called it. No.
We're not on the card.
We were not part of the play.
Yeah.
I was doing video. Robert was walking with our players. We have no say in people violating the rules.
Yeah, it could be the worst foot fault that ever happened. And unless the people on the card call it or there's a marshal along with them.
Right.
it might as well have not happened.
Right. We are not any kind of in any officiating role at that time.
We could even say it. Like if somebody following along wanted to be rude and say, hey, that was a foot fault, say that really loud. Doesn't matter. The card is the one.
Right, and then you don't want to
final say.
appear like you're trying to give advantage. You're taking advantage away from somebody or whatnot.
Or giving someone.
Or giving some advantage. So.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up this particular episode. Thank you so much to our YouTube viewers for tuning in. Thank you so much for our audio listeners. We will deal with that here in a little bit. Okay. Yes, we have a Lucid Warden. If you are watching, take a look.
By the way, though,
we have a Lucid Warden.
If you haven't thrown these yet, they're stock stamp now. Okay, these have been.
Wait, do you know anything about the Wardens, Robert?
I've never heard of Wardens, but it feels like a really good disc. These have been TFR for the longest time, so they were only available through tournaments or personal fundraisers, things like that. No. Well, now they're stock stamp, and they're the best. They're just really, really good. And I posted about them and said, if you get one, we can be best friends.
And Lucid is a brand new.
Nobody's bought one.
I know.
Turns out we haven't increased any sales at all.
Sending their Wardens back in.
I did put an asterisk next to best and say levels of best may vary.
Yeah. So you're probably wondering, well, how can I win that? You have to be a member of the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group.
Yeah.
That I'm going to go on there here in a minute and talk about how to win that particular disc. So if you are watching YouTube, make sure you join the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group. If you're listening to this, make sure you check the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group, and I'll give you some time to follow through on the instructions on how to win that.
Yeah.
Sound good? All right, guys. So this is, we're here for a little bit. So we will be here next week, correct? Everybody's going to be here next week?
I'm here next week.
Sure.
Okay. We'll check back with
I'm here next week and then not the following.
Right.
Yep.
Any disc golf this weekend going on?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
No?
Shay and I are.
However, tomorrow is the Emporia Country Club League, the first ever Emporia Country Club League. So if you're close to Emporia or anywhere around the surrounding areas, come on out. It's only $8.
Yeah.
And that gets you a cart. You and your card mate get to share a cart for $8. The league, the tag. It's going to be a good time.
I'm going to be there for sure.
It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's playing this weekend?
What's this weekend?
This weekend, Shay and I are celebrating my birthday stuff because we're going to be out of town the following. So we're going to go to Kansas City and hang around. And
my parents are coming to town.
For this weekend?
For this week.
Just to stop by and say hi?
They're
nice.
Coming up for the weekend.
Okay. And what did you say? I'm sorry, Robert. I was reading.
That's okay. Shay and I are celebrating my birthday this weekend because my actual birthday weekend, the following, will be in Texas for a wedding.
Are you allowed to tell us what you're doing for your birthday weekend?
Yeah, sure. We're going to go to Kansas City and probably go to some outlet malls up there. And I know that's
enjoy that.
Shocking. Because, I mean, it's birthday month. You got to treat yourself. And then eat some lunch and then go to a really fun putt-putt place because I very much enjoy playing putt-putt. I also very much enjoy talking trash to my friends.
While you play putt-putt?
Yes. That's almost better than even the putt-putt itself. So we'll see.
So you're playing putt-putt with your wife?
Yes.
And you're going to talk trash to your wife?
Of course. 100%.
Okay.
She will probably beat me, but I will talk trash.
Literally beat you.
And figuratively. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you listeners and watchers will be able to go out and play some disc golf and enjoy some excellent weather out there. Until next week, we will see you. Bye.
Hey, bye.
All right, we are back real quick just to let you know there is U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship going on. We have some, how many players do we have out there?
We got several competitors out there. I don't know how many, probably around 8 to 10 between all three companies.
Yeah, so we want to wish the women out there good luck this weekend for sure. Now we are going to end the broadcast.
Hey, see ya.
Bye.
See ya.